She lost this election because she sat there talking about how anti-racism she was while simultaneously blaming straight white men for just about every single problem this country has.
I'm coming for every single straight man in my family. Hi.
You are going to hell for this. You can repent. You can walk away from this.
You know, with all of these things, you could literally put a mirror in front of all of them and then it would make sense.
If you voted for Trump, I think you're a loser. I think you're stupid. I think you're evil.
And we need to foster a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion here in Austin, since we elected a literal Nazi!
Oh my god, I'm absolutely shook after watching that.
Don't believe boys should play girls' sport.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table.
And this will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
Oh my god, with her, it's just like, get out of my space.
White women who voted about 52% for Donald Trump, uneducated white women.
You're cringe, you're crisp, and you're cute. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Jack Jewell podcast. I'm very glad to have you here with me, or if you are new, welcome. Well, my channel just passed 10k subscribers, so I want to thank everyone who has supported me, subscribed, watched my videos and everything. I see so many of you coming back in the comments, so it really means a lot to me. And hopefully I'll have this podcast out before Thursday the 14th of November, because I'm going to do a live stream Q&A and answer your questions. So if you have any questions for me, anything at all, can't promise I'll answer anything, but try your luck. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will look specifically on this video, or you can head to my community tab as well, and I have a post up there. So please join the live. You can ask questions live too, and I would love to see you there. It's a very exciting journey doing all of this. It's been a while since I've done a podcast episode just me, and seeing as we've just had the craziest week after the US election, I thought I would continue speaking about that and react to some very, very crazy liberal trends that we're seeing coming out. Before we move on, if you like my content, please like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the good stuff. And if you would like to support my channel, there's a few ways you can do that. There's a one-time donation via PayPal link. And shout out to whatever God angel donated me £150 just a couple weeks ago. Don't know who you are, but thank you so much for that. That was just the most wonderful thing to see. So yes, thank you. You can also join my YouTube community membership for early access to videos. I now upload the Jack Jewell Uncut episodes there too. So thank you to everyone who's joined that. We now have 10 members, and I'm going to put you guys up on the screen just to show you my thanks. And I want to give a special shout out to Sky. Sky is a very base transsexual woman who comments on all my videos, is a member. Sky also has her own channel and talks about a lot of these issues too. Huge supporter, and I really appreciate all of your support, Sky, and just for being so lovely. So please go check Sky out. And then finally, even better, you can go join the Jack Jewell Uncut Substack, where you will see all of my exclusive, uncut, untamed, and unashamed takes, too controversial for YouTube, as well as bonus footage and articles seen nowhere else. So out of the two, that really is the better one to join, because I get a higher cut of the earnings. And yes, hope to see you there.
I cannot live in a country that voted for Trump. We have made the decision that we are leaving.
This country just died. It's about a woman being in charge.
Or it was that she was a terrible candidate.
You let a felon and a racist, narcissist, fascist be in charge.
And fuck you ugly dumb bitches who voted for him too. You guys are a piece of shit. You guys have internalized fucking misogyny, and you're dumb. You're stupid.
You could have picked a woman off the streets and she would have done a better campaign.
I've literally broken up with a man because he voted for Trump. Sayonara, bitch.
I wish her the best. And guys, please show me some love, as I have really been going through it this week. I think life can be difficult with all this political stuff. I think we're at a stage now where it's just so difficult to hold different views without being seen as an extremist. And I really hope the tide turns. I really do. Because with what's happened in this election and Donald Trump getting elected and all of the kind of things that the Americans are rejecting, all of this woke shit, we're going to talk about a lot of it today. In the UK, we import so many ideas from the US. So I really hope we follow suit in that way and just reach a stage where we can be tolerant of each other's differing opinions. There's just this prevailing narrative of all of this critical theory, this suppression Olympics, and you can say this, but you can't have an opinion on that because X, Y, Z. And people have made us play this game for so long. And we're at a stage now where people are being more emboldened to stand up to it and be like, you can play that game. You can view the world through this lens that's very negative and very reductive based off immutable characteristics. Or, you know, you can let us do our own thing and reject that, but let's not impose it on each other. I'm not perfect. Having a channel is a learning process. You know, there's times when I've gone too far in my commentary for sure. Yes, I can be quite critical, but you know, until people understand what's happening with, particularly, as you know, I mainly talk about gender stuff, but also talk about other political issues. But, you know, when there is a movement with this gender ideology harming young gay kids, then I'm going to be critical. And if it's going to be harming women, I'm going to be critical, you know, and we're in an age now with social media and just TikTok that has been such a game changer in just how many average people are getting up on camera, deciding to run their mouth about different issues. And when people gain such large followings, it is just common sense that we should be able to respond to those. You know, I believe in freedom of speech. If anyone wants to make a video on me and hate on me, go for it. People have already done it, you know, and I commend you for doing it. Actually, we may disagree, but it's a learning process. And so many of you were so lovely, so reassuring that, you know, there are so many people on this side of the aisle who believe in reality and that fight just for common sense and being able to speak freely, because that is just so important. If we reach a stage where, well, we have already reached a stage, but if we keep going down this stage of being stifled and not being able to question anything from a sacred minority group, it leads to tyranny. You can't just say, okay, Black people get to decide what's racist, because first of all, race is about different races, you know, not just about Black people, but also there always has to be a trade-off and a debate on any of these issues. Anyone can have an opinion on anything. Silencing people is never going to work. You know, people will feel more alienated. It's more likely that people will be led to extremism if they feel stifled and they can't voice their opinions. You know, they'll go and find it in other pockets that will listen to them, you know, and you can argue that this is kind of one of these things with me. But in terms of, if we look at 10 years ago, a lot of the stuff I talk about is pretty moderate, in my opinion. It is pretty non-controversial, but things have changed so much that, you know, the left has gone so far left that the center is far right. And with all of this woke shit, it's not even left. It's just this new hyperbolic critical theory that is permeating society. And so many of us are just like, no, I'm not playing the game anymore. So I'm going to continue to speak out on all this stuff. And, you know, my mind is always open. It's always open to changing. If by some bizarre change of fate, we realize giving gay kids puberty blockers is actually the best thing in the world and it's proven, then I will concede on that point. But until that happens, I'm here. Right. So let's talk about the US election. I know lots of people are thrilled about what happened. I'm happy with the results. And while I will say again that Donald Trump, for me, is not a likable character and has many, many flaws, I still thought he was a far better choice than the Democrats. And we're going to talk about a lot of that today. I made a video about Kamala Harris featuring a very prominent activist, Jack Toole. Go check it out if you've not seen it. You know, now is the time to really reflect on why this has happened instead of just calling everyone who voted for him racist. You know, it's getting to the point where people really can't run away from this anymore, because what are you going to do? Just call 55% of the whole US population racist? Doesn't really fly, doesn't wash anymore. And it's the same in the UK with Kemi Badenoch becoming the leader of the Conservative Party, a Black woman. Yes, those two things. Leader of the centre-right, supposed to be centre-right, hopefully there will be again, party in the UK. And, you know, who's playing the identity politics? It's the left. It's Labour. You know, they're obsessed with race and white supremacy and all this stuff. Where are their people of colour, female leaders? Because no, they've never had any. The Tories have had 4 female leaders. They've had 2 different prime ministers of color. So I think it's about time you guys take a look at yourselves in the mirror. Do you know what I mean? Because really what's going on is the people who talk about race all the time are the racist people. All right. It's a harsh term, but it's the people that talk about merit and actually doing things and being approved based off what you can bring to the table over your race who are not racist, because it's a colorblind approach. And that's the approach I take. Right. So I do think it is kind of enjoyable just to see this stuff happening and see the left kind of their brains combust and say, wait, how can we keep arguing this point? Okay, I mean, Dawn Butler, deranged Labour MP, posted the day Kemi got elected that she is the black face of white supremacy. Really pathetic that you are going to smear a massive achievement. You know, identity politics has a little bit of a place. You can say, this is great. We have elected a black woman of color, you know, tell us we are racist. You're racist, you're racist, you're racist all the time. And look, we just elected her by vote. So it's not working anymore. And for then a woman who just talks constantly about race and oppression to be so vile towards Kemi Badenoch, who's the racist? It is so clear as day. Those people, those race-obsessed politicians, they can't see it. You're the problem, Dawn Butler. Anyway, that was a little sprinkle of UK politics for you. So why did the Democrats lose? Well, I was going to give my own monologue, but let's actually have a look at this TikTok, a girl who puts it quite well.
Kamala Harris did not lose this election because she's a woman. She lost this election because there were American families sitting there telling her how they couldn't afford to put food in their fridge, and her solution was to bring out Meg Thee Stallion to twerk on stage alongside just about every single one of P. Diddy's friends to endorse her. She lost this election because there were Americans who lost everything in an absolutely horrific hurricane, and she sat there telling them that $750 should be enough for them if they even qualify, while simultaneously funding illegals staying in 5-star hotels in New York City, receiving 3 meals a day provided to them by taxpayer dollars. She lost this election because she sat there talking about how anti-racism she was, while simultaneously blaming straight white men for just about every single problem this country has. Isn't it funny that if you demonize a group of people long enough for merely existing, they might not want to vote for you? American politics has changed forever. You will no longer be able to sit there and bully Americans into voting for you. It won't work. Unfortunately, our politicians on both sides seem to forget that they are actually public servants. They answer to the public, not the other way around. And they need to get behind that. They need to understand that, and they need to change and reform their policies to fit what the public is saying, or they will get left in the dust, as Kamala learned the hard way yesterday.
Well, she really serves it up there. You know, she was just like a dart throughout that whole video. And I commend her for that. It was nice to see that video in the midst of all the crazy liberal meltdowns, but you can constantly demonize a whole portion of society because they think a certain way. They might be more fiscally conservative. They might be more socially conservative. They might have certain views about abortion or whatever. You know, all of us come from a good place for the most part. Most of our views are with the intention of having a better society, you know? Some people think that distributing all our money, loads and loads and loads, does actually not make us all better off. In fact, it can demotivate people. I won't go down that whole rabbit hole, but when it comes to issues like the crisis at the southern border, going back even a decade ago, wanting to curb illegal immigration would not have been a controversial thing, you know? A country without borders is not a country, right? And if you have a country that everyone wants to come to, that is an amazing thing. You know, we are so lucky in the US, in Canada, in the UK, in liberal democracies to live in a country where people want to immigrate to and to have a better life. But if you just have an open border policy and you say, well, trying to control this and not allowing just any person to walk through and claim refugee status is racist. Well, eventually you're no longer going to have that country that everyone wants to come to because it has to be controlled. And yes, immigration has to be for the benefit of the country as well as the immigrants coming to it. Because if you forget your country and leave them behind, they are going to forget you. And that is what the Democrats saw in this situation. You know, if you think about you have to put on your own life mask first before you help people. This is the same thing. Ask yourself, would you donate nearly all of your salary to someone so that you just have the bare minimum to live off? No, you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. This is the same thing on a much broader scale. Plus add in danger behind it of just all these unvetted people walking in. And, you know, to even suggest that someone's racist for caring about that shows the sheer, let's use the word, privilege of perhaps your opinions, because perhaps you live in an area that has not felt the impact of mass illegal immigration. Perhaps you have a salary that has not necessarily suffered as much from the cost of living crisis. We have to help ourselves first before we can help others. And there's always going to be more people to help. No matter how many people we help, there will be more people to help. The whole leftist mindset these days has gone towards this utopian thing of like, we're going to have this fully multiracial, multicultural society that has all of these different cultures, all of these different languages, and everyone's going to be kind and everyone's going to be liberal. And that's just not how it works, you know? And tell that to the families who have lost lives of their family, you know, because they've been killed by illegal immigrants. Tell it to them. Because if that happened to me, I would be even more anti-illegal immigration than I am now. You know, I'm not anti-immigration. I'm not anti-refugee. I'm neither of those things. I think both those things are important, but in a legal way, and we have to vet people. So the Democrats just thought that was a good idea and then started scrambling towards the end, finally put in some measures and then dramatically reduced everything. What do you know? But it was too late. It was too late. When you have families struggling to put food on the table and then you hear about all this taxpayer dollars going on, all of these hotels, you know, that is going to make people angry. It's going to make people angry. They're going to feel undervalued and not looked after. You know, and just on the topic of immigration, this is not a fringe issue. In fact, according to this data here, this polling, the majority of the American public favor deportation of illegal migrants, you know, 51%, 40% of black voters, even 42% of Democrats, you know. This is not a controversial issue to come into a country illegally and expect to stay. It's just not. So if you want to call all those people racist, do, but it's going to be a lonely world for you when you constantly blame men for everything. And a lot of these things have nuggets of truth in them, right? You know, maybe someone doesn't want immigration because they are racist. They're the minority, I think. Men are not perfect. There are lots of bad men out there. Are all men like that? Absolutely not. Are all masculine qualities bad? Absolutely not. A lot of them are great, actually. And when you pathologize masculinity and demonize men for having masculine traits, they are going to turn away from you. You've not made the left appealing for men. You know, that's been a big thing. Same thing with all the race, you know, just keep telling us we're racist and you're just going to alienate us. It's not going to work. You can bully us and bully us, but it's not going to work. And fundamentally, when it came down to things, take all those things out of it. Most people recognized that during the Trump presidency, they were better off, food was cheaper. And at the end of the day, that is what matters to most people, not cultural appropriation, not identity politics, just all of this extra shit, all this cultural, social shit going on that people of a more privileged lifestyle have the mental capacity to obsess over. People that want to feed their kids, they're not worried about that stuff, you know? So is he a misogynist? Has he done this? Is he a felon? You know, even if it's yep. They probably recognize, well, we had a presidency before and it wasn't that bad and actually our lives were better. So there you go. I really hope the Democrats just reflect on this and ask themselves, okay, just for a second, let's check. Did we do anything wrong? You know, could we have offered more? Could we have not censored information and made all the mainstream media really biased and taken people's liberty away during COVID and cancelled people? The list goes on and on. You know, maybe don't do that. And who knows, maybe we'll see a rejuvenation of the Democratic Party and it will come back even better. What do you think? So this is going to be a fun episode because we're going to react to some of the many leftist meltdown trends we've seen online since this result came out. And honestly, I have so much footage here. I don't know how I'm actually going to get through. Maybe I'll have to post some as an extra video. But this is just such a small fraction of all of the shit I had to wade through, you know? People might think this is just a tiny fraction of crazy people online, and you can argue that point, but I really do think it's a reflection of wider stuff, especially with everyone I speak to in the US. The amount of people I've spoken to who've said, I can't tell my family I voted for Trump. I can't tell my friends I voted for them. You know, people are living in this culture of silence, and it's ridiculous because he won by the popular vote. Like, the majority group are being shunned into silence. That's an issue. You guys need to get your shit together, right? Okay, so the first trend we're going to look at is the absolute violence and hate coming out of the leftists.
It's personal now. I'm coming for every single straight man in my family. Hi. Yup.
Just notice that straight as if, oh, you guys aren't straight because you're so pathetic. Well, I call homophobia, bitch, here.
Looked around and found out. And now this is going to happen. You're welcome. So I am absolutely, now I'm sure, now I'm positive that the yearly hunting trip that y'all have been having, that my father hosts, that my uncle goes on that my uncles, my brother, my cousins that are like my brothers, their friends that have all known me my entire life that claim to love and respect me have been having a yearly claim to love and respect women in general, but obviously that's bullshit. Yearly hunting trip that they go on that falls the weekend after my parents' anniversary. Weird. Almost like it was my dad's planned bachelor party, and then y'all just never fucking stopped the bachelor party because isn't the quote, the theme of that weekend that y'all always tell, y'all been telling us for decades, for what, 30 something years y'all been doing this trip, right? It's like Vegas. We don't, you can't talk about it. It's like Fight Club. You're not supposed to talk about it. I always thought that was really sus, you know? And then my now ex-husband, the first and last time he ever went on that trip with y'all, he tried to cheat on me and I found out about it. I'm not sure if y'all know that. Y'all invited the one who's going to get y'all fucked up.
I want to give these people some compassion in this. It's going to be hard, but I'm going to, it must be difficult when you had so much at stake, or allegedly had so much at stake for this election. And I'm sorry that you're disappointed. And especially with all the hyperbole that you actually believe some of this stuff, it must be very stressful. However, the people who preach tolerance and love are just so aggressive, so passive aggressive, so patronizing. The crazy look is in their eyes, and they don't notice that while they preach joy and inclusion, everything is just about them and what they want. There's no understanding of, well, maybe we pushed these people so far that they abandoned us, because we've told them we hate them and they're racist and they're misogynists, when most of them are not. And then notice how she just hates on these relatives of her having a yearly get together, as if it's some sort of, misogynistic group of men just going to hang out. This is the thing. This is the demonization of just normal masculinity. What, men can't go on a camping trip together? And if it's true about someone cheating on her, then that's terrible, It is. But she can't just blame all the other people for it. And it's honestly just that energy. You're going to see it so much in these videos. That entitled, patronizing, demonizing energy. It just makes you retreat. It makes you want to be in a different room.
Come after us. No. You, and you don't get your chief aid.
Hey, this is a family environment. Please
I am leaving.
Leave right now. It's a family environment. We're not doing that here. We represent Panera Bread and the brand. I don't care who you voted for, who you love, who you worship. Get out.
I'm not going to have my rights taken away.
Nobody's questioning anybody's right. Thank you. Please leave these other guests alone. We're not interacting.
So audio listeners, get on YouTube and watch this on the video because it's going to be much better. I have to describe everything, but this is a restaurant where a guy sees someone in a MAGA hat and he absolutely flips, becoming aggressive, becoming violent. And shout out to that waitress who really stood her ground and said, I don't care, this is a family place, whoever you voted for. They need to understand that it is not the Republicans behaving this way. Sure, that you had the January 6th insurrection, which was terrible, but have you seen people on the right, Republicans, centrists, getting online and abusing people in this way? You kind of don't, right? There will be some crazy ethno-nationalists or whatever, but really, all of this is coming from the left. And he says, I'm not going to have my rights taken away. I mean, what rights does he have that's been taken away? Because I can't answer that question. Okay, this one is from some sort of a reverend or priest.
I'm delivering 3 sermons today, each one to a different group of people. And this one is for the Trump supporters. You are going to hell for this. You're going to hell for this. You have blatantly disregarded your neighbor. You have failed to care for the widowed, the orphaned, and the immigrant. You have committed idolatry, and you have become lost in your greed and your lusts. You are proud and envious, and you will face that reality on Judgment Day. You can repent. You can walk away from this. You can start to atone.
With all of these things, you could literally put a mirror in front of all of them, and then it would make sense. Then it would make sense that they're talking to themselves.
But I doubt any of you will. I think that if God himself came down from the heavens, laid hands upon Donald Trump and called him the Antichrist, you would still follow him. Because what? He's promising to make eggs a little cheaper? You could have downsized your life, gotten rid of that big giant truck of yours, and all your expensive weapons, or you could have gone out and fought for higher pay, or an end to corporate corruption. You chose to do neither of those things because it was easier to blame immigrants. And I don't believe in hell as a place of eternal fire. No, I think hell is going to be something so much worse for you. Because if you got thrown into a pit of fire, if you were tortured for all eternity, you would never learn anything. You would just feel slighted by God. No, here's what I think hell is for you. I think hell is a place where you're going to have to face the fact that you were wrong. And you're going to have to sit there in the silence, in the emptiness, in the nothingness, for however long it takes you to figure it out. For however long it takes for you to learn how to live in a society with other people in it. That is the burning you will feel. The burning of your own soul eating you up. May God have mercy on you. May God have mercy on us all.
Yikes. If anyone sees this man, maybe report him to the police. This is some sort of queer priest, it kind of seems. Pink shirt, septum piercing, just the works. I mean, he says, learn to live in a society with other people. I think that's what he said. I mean, look in the mirror. You need to learn to live with 52% of the population or whatever that voted for Donald Trump, How Christian of this man to wish, such hell on people. It is so dominating. And there's just zero introspection going on, I think that's why it's so difficult for us to stop trying to reason with these people, because their authoritarianism comes disguised in virtuousness and kindness and being tolerant. So we're always saying, but, see the hypocrisy? See, that doesn't add up. But oftentimes, there's sort of no point, because they are the authoritarians, they're not gonna stop. And the longer they stay in this headspace, the more they have to lose, right? Because then they have to look back on years of behaving like this and realize, well, actually, I was the problem the whole time. So I pray for this man. Don't wish any hell on him or anything. Hope he finds the light.
There is a highly trained professional assassin out there right now, and you have one job. Chop, chop, bitch.
Isn't it crazy how one side are able to get away with putting this stuff online? It's crazy. Calling for an assassination and then that just being commonplace.
I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done. If you voted for Trump, I think you're a loser. I think you're stupid. I think you're a moron. I think you're evil. I think that you deserve to die by my hands. More specifically, by the rake that's in my hand that I'm using as a bludgeon on your skull. You loser. I'm better than you. You're a horrible person. You don't deserve air. Fucking yourself before I get to you. Do it. Kill yourself right now. Reply with a video of you killing yourself. Fucking loser.
Oh my god, I'm actually speechless after that. That is just so disgusting. Like, what on earth are in these people's heads? It is such temper tantrums, but that was sinister, You're evil. But also record a video of you yourself. This might get demonetized, this video, so I'm gonna have to be careful. But honestly, get your shit together, guys. Look in the mirror. You're evil,
You gotta be sucking my dick right now. There's absolutely no way that I'm an election denier. I am now going to be a election denier. You cannot convince me that many people that hate Donald Trump, that piece of shit mother, there's no way that he got the popular vote, he got the House and the Senate and the presidency. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
Unfortunately, it does, because your candidate was really poor quality, The Democrats gave an awful campaign. They censored your country for years. They lied to you about Joe Biden being senile. They lied to you and called you racist when you were concerned about 8 million illegal immigrants entering your country since Joe Biden took office. It makes perfect sense. And the fact that Donald Trump is Donald Trump and has all the flaws that he has, and he still won against the Democrats, that shows how terrible the Democrats were. You know, it says more about them than it does about Trump, really. You better believe it.
Save your ass, MAGA dude.
Thank you so much. We love you so much.
I don't love you.
But we love you.
I don't love you.
I hope God helps you.
I do not want your love. I want you to find yourself in a Princess Diana car accident.
Really? But why? We love you.
Yeah, we might.
Oh my God. I just have so much respect for all the Republicans or centrists, whatever, on the right, people who have the patience for that. Do these people just have zero capacity to reflect on themselves? They're like little toddlers who haven't got their way, and they're going to keep bullying and bullying and bullying. But unfortunately, we can forgive toddlers because they're toddlers, but these people, they're just going to end up lonely, you know?
Good morning, Mayor and Council. I'm speaking in support of items 5 and 27 because we need to expand Black voices. The voices of our African American brothers and sisters needs to be heard, especially after America chose to elect a white supremacist and educated rapist over the first African American female in United States history.
I'm not quite sure what this is, some sort of council meeting, but this guy, a white guy, can you believe it, has a t-shirt that says "White Dudes for Harris," and then a COVID mask, what do you know, with a pride flag and then the Black Lives Matter fist. But honestly, US, why are you still wearing COVID masks? You know, in the UK, nobody talks about this. There might be your odd immunocompromised person or, you know, fringe COVID fanatic, but it's really not a thing. Like, I don't understand why you guys just won't let it go. You know, let Rona go. You know, Rona's dead. It's a hard time parting with that. But let people see your face, okay? It's a human experience.
And that's why it's so important, now more than ever, to be an ally to the Black community. I am in a non-traditional relationship, and the lover that my wife took is an African American with Puerto Rican ancestry. And I see firsthand the struggle that people of color go through on a daily basis thanks to my wife's boyfriend, Armando.
Oh my God. That was good. Oh my God. It's bad, but it's funny, but it's bad. And again, I feel sorry for him. I'm sorry you're upset. But the whole non-conventional relationship thing, and then my wife's boyfriend. Shout out to the polycool, guys. Just sympathy for the hysteria here.
Our country was built on a legacy of white supremacy, and we need to foster a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion here in Austin, especially since we elected a literal Nazi to be president! And my wife, she's put me on a sex strike because she is no longer able to seek reproductive health care. And before the election, I had my very own chair right by the bedroom. And now I have to watch my wife and Armando make love from the closet. And it's so lonely in there. So please, 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 for the love of science, for the love of healthcare, pass item 27 because abortion is healthcare, and I am an ally to women.
Oh my God.
You're really going to clap at that?
Oh my God, I'm absolutely shook after watching that. When I was finding these clips, you know, I looked at the beginning of it, but that was just next absolute level. And you would think that this is someone playing a hoax, but it is at a very official looking council meeting. Maybe if your wife has a boyfriend called Armando and punishes you for the election result, which was not your fault, by denying you sex because you're white and making you watch, if that's true, I sense racism and it's coming from inside the house. Jesus Christ. You know, it's kind of scary that some people actually feel like this. You know, it's pretty dystopian that their reality is that. I pray for that guy. I hope he sees the light.
Hope your day gets better.
Shut the up!
Positive energy.
So I really hope that's real. Who knows? Maybe it's not. But audio listeners, is this guy looking out on his porch and the woman who's shouting, you can't see her. But oh, it's the Be Kind left. Cute. Here's an iMessage, a text that went viral. So it says, sent this to my brother today. Please do not call me for birthdays, holidays, or anything else from now on. I have blocked you on all social media. If we have to see each other for family events, I'll be respectful, but I will not talk to you for any other reason. I do not want to see you or hear from you from now on. Hope it was worth it. That last sentence, like, hope it was worth losing me. You know what, Lex? Pray for you, Lex, but you're the issue because you're cutting off the relationship. You know, you're alienating him by saying he's crazy. Sad. These people are making themselves miserable and lonely. So I'm sure Lex is going to calm down. You know, calm down, Lex. Take a chill pill. Take that red pill. Rekindle with your brother. You know, things are going to be okay. All right. So now we're going to look at some of the mainstream media. This is going to be fun.
I think this is a big, huge part of the story that it's hard to even digest fully at this moment. But you have Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, X, who is a disinformation propagandist and now could potentially have a direct line to the Oval Office.
Oh my God. It's actually quite funny to see some people on the left. They just can't bear X now. They can't bear Elon Musk. They can't bear a platform that does not censor information they don't like, that does not censor misgendering or dead naming or saying biological sex is immutable. Like, they can't bear it. Misinformation. I mean, Elon has worked so hard to have those community notes on X so that if someone does post something that's inaccurate, you can actually see underneath it, this is actually incorrect, this is what happened. You guys see freedom of speech as disinformation propaganda. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. It is just so much brainwashing, years of brainwashing. It's quite sad that you need a platform that censors all the information you don't like and that disagrees with you in order for your arguments to be valid. And you know why? It's because your arguments don't hold up to scrutiny. All this critical theory, it's very easy to argue against. Again, scientific evidence. These people, MSNBC, a major broadcasting network, and I know in the US all of these news outlets are completely captured, but it's still just so shocking to see someone like Elon Musk, who is an ex-self-defined liberal, or still kind of defines him that way, kind of classical liberal, billionaire, hugely successful person, clearly very intelligent. He's not some crazy fascist, just come out of the woodworks. He has recognized, oh shit, we're getting a lot of this stuff wrong and our country's going crazy. So wake up and smell the Elon, please.
I think there are a lot of families out there who don't believe boys should play girls' sports.
They're not boys. I'm not going to listen to transphobia at this table. I am not going to listen to you call a trans girl a boy.
Are you going to allow me to finish my explanation?
When you use a word that's a slur, I'm going to interrupt. That's not how it is. They're not boys. They're not boys. They're not playing girls softball. I'm not going to sit there and listen to that.
Because
man, you need to get your shit together here. You know, if you can't sit on a panel with someone who disagrees with you or believes in biological reality without throwing a temper tantrum, again, you're the problem. It's you. You're so intolerant that it's, no, I can't sit here. I can't listen to this. You can't compel people. What are you going to do with this guy who thinks that boys in girls' sports are boys, which they are? I'm sorry to tell you that, but they are. What is this kind of behavior going to cause? He's not going to go home and go, you know, that guy didn't allow me to speak and was really intolerant and childish. So actually, they are girls. That's not going to happen. You know, it is childish.
Look, this is a really heated issue, right? And Sharmichael, I know you. I know that you understand that people have different views on this. I think out of respect for Jay, like, let's try to talk about this in a way that is respectful.
Why does respect only go in one way, Miss Thing? It's not respectful to compel someone's speech. It's not. It's the opposite.
Okay, so let me rephrase this since I'm being targeted here.
I don't
There-
hear
no,
that.
no,
Just
it's
to be clear,
okay.
you are not being
But I
targeted.
am, but it's okay.
I'm specifically
It's okay.
saying that I know that you are not intending to be transphobic.
He should know that I'm not. He wants to sit here
I'm not
and
calling you
bloviate.
transphobic.
I'm saying you're using a phrase
I want to
that
give
you
you an
know.
opportunity.
So the way regular people
that's not-
interpret it,
That's not
which is why
regular
those
people.
ads were
That's not regular people. There's no consensus that these are actually boys.
Yes, there is. Oh my God. It's just ideologue. That is it. There is very much a consensus that trans women are men because it's just a biological fact. It's not hate. It's not a slur. If you're respectful and you don't invade women's sports and spaces, I'll use she, her. I'll do it. If you're with it. If you're one of the base people. That's me. But some people refuse to do that. And I think that's totally valid. Completely. I am here for free speech. And I'm not here for this guy. And he said to use a slur. Boy is not a slur. I got this from Helen Joyce, I think. She said boy is just a neutral, unambiguous term. It's not a slur. You know, it's not a slur to tell the truth. I'm sorry. Whoever this guy is.
It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare.
Oh, just 52% of the country. They're not going to bed in the nightmare, are they?
Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not. And this will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
Oh my God. With her, it's just like, get out of my space. Can you just for a second talk about anything but race? Like, just for a second. Can you talk about individuals? These white women are going to get even more sick of you. Not black people, just you.
If she were a 6'4" white man from Arkansas and she ran a good middle of the road campaign talking about reaching out, do you think she would be losing by that much?
Well, the thing is, she didn't run a good middle of the road campaign. She ran a terrible campaign. So there you go.
You have to put down the country because you don't like the results. Trump won. It's like blaming the refs after you lost 50-0. Could it be you?
Exactly. Those guys are getting it. So this this happened when the results were coming in, and it is gold.
You asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020?
Holy smokes.
There you go.
Literally nothing?
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county?
Oh my God, those poor people. They gaslit the public in the news, and they gaslit each other thinking that they were just so far ahead, and then she hasn't outperformed him in a single county. That points to something.
Should have dropped out a year ago or 2 years ago.
The timing, I think, of President Biden's decision to step down after the debate, something that if she does in fact lose, will be under a microscope.
One senior official I just talked to said Biden will hold a lot of blame for it. And frankly, they said he should.
Well, what do you know? Biden may hold some of the blame, but who owns the blame? It's the Democratic Party for lying to the US citizens that he did not have late-stage dementia. That is not democracy. That is deception. So I think you guys are almost there, but not quite. You can't really blame the person with dementia because they are demented. I don't say that with any malice. I just mean if someone doesn't have the mental capacity, then maybe you should blame the people that lied to everyone that he was okay. You know?
Particularly the media ecosystem it's not a good one. It's a negative one. It's a radicalization funnel. But what they have done in their online media ecosystem is build a radicalization engine, literally the way militant groups do around the world, that takes people from relatively low level annoyances with the world. Why are eggs so expensive? Why is my kid learning this new thing in American history in school that I didn't learn? And then moves them through YouTube videos, through podcasts, moves them from that annoyance all the way slowly to a full-blown fascist politics. It's an elaborate multi-billion-dollar infrastructure, and there is nothing like it on the pro-democracy side. We don't have when a man is just lost and lonely and not yet radicalized, we don't have the equivalent of Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson to move that man in a feminist direction. By the way, we should educate men that it's actually really great to live with a strong woman who makes money. It's actually easier. Life is easier.
But I think
Okay, so there's a lot in that. First of all, it sounds like he's describing themselves, you know, this propagandist machine. You're describing yourselves. MSNBC, for gaslighting the public, telling them lies, and giving an extremely biased view, just constantly calling Trump Hitler, thinking people would believe that and that he's a fascist, thinking that people would buy it, treating them like absolute idiots. We have no vehicle to bring women in a feminist direction, men in a feminist direction. Well, maybe that's because you have demonized men and masculinity and made straight white men the devil, that they don't want to be associated with you. Maybe you could not do that. And then men would be more compelled by what you're offering. And he says, we don't have this on the pro-democracy side. It's not an accurate description. And then Joe Rogan. I mean, Joe Rogan is on 2,000 and something episodes of his podcast. And his podcast interviews many different people with many different ideas. It's a freedom of speech podcast. To the insane left, freedom of speech is propaganda. That's a problem. It's actually quite scary. And it's so funny the way he describes it, saying, you know, they take these little ideas and they put it through this machine. That is you. You're taking this idea of, you know, okay, racism is an issue sometimes, and then you are amping it up to such a high level that people that watch your show are literally seeing the world through racial lens constantly. You're describing yourself. Don't know who you are, but you need to do some reflection. It is just so much projection. It's projection to the nth degree, all of this.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill.
Promises? I mean, do I even need to rebuttal that? Like, you know, possibly being fit for office would be a start.
Being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days. Make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat, and it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see. Is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats.
Okay, this
operate.
has now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is something that's...
Yeah, that's not what the country wants to see. You know, you tried this already. You gave them a DEI hire that had very little experience and had one of the lowest ratings in vice presidential history and was not a good candidate, did not run a good campaign, and the public rejected her. You also lied about Joe Biden. Now you're saying, oh, we need transparency. And they just want it so they can finally have their, oh my God, look, we had a woman of color president. Like, that is reductive, obsessed with race and gender. You guys aren't getting it. I really, really hope you start to get it, because you're just doing the same thing. You know, what is it they say? Only crazy people do the same thing over and over again, expecting for a different result. And this is it. Okay, this is going to be good. Now we're going to look at The View.
I disagree.
All right.
I think that I'd like to reframe the conversation. I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is, what is wrong with America? I think what is wrong with our country that the Republican Party would choose as a candidate and support a candidate who is an insurrectionist, who is an election denier, who is someone who is twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon, someone who has been accused of alleged sexual misconduct by 26 women, found liable for sexual abuse. What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny, over a message of inclusiveness, a message for the people, by the people, of the people. That's what the problem is. It's the Republican Party. And what's wrong with America?
You see, this is the issue. Is you can see her inclusiveness, like she's on her high horse. She's getting that rush of adrenaline, and she's not listening. You know, Sunny, you need to let the sun out. You know, sunlight is the best disinfectant, but you're still in the dark. Sunny's in the dark. And I feel like she's never going to get it. You know, she says, oh, there's something wrong with the American people. That's so insulting to your country. You know, if you hate your country that much, then there's other places to, you know, maybe. So let's take the argument of all those flaws about Donald Trump, right? Which you can make. Maybe it's, why do the American people still prefer that option over the Democrats? Why? That's the question you need to be answering. But no, it's like, this is the American people's fault. Well, tough. You're in America. That's what they voted for. So you can alienate them more, but that's not going to work.
We can do a second. The Democrats are the ones, they are the party that cares for the blue collar voter. The Democrats are the ones who put in Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, union protection, ACA, unemployment insurance, and Obamacare. The Republican Party doesn't give a rat's patootie.
I mean, did any of those things really work? Are people better off now? Do they have better access to healthcare? Because I hear the opposite. People think these leftist policies are just because they sound so appealing that they work, but oftentimes they don't work, right? So you can list off all those things, but that does not mean that they worked. It doesn't mean that people are better off, that they have better quality of life. You know, it's just one philosophy.
Well, clearly they didn't convince the voters.
So all I can deduce is that it's the messaging. It didn't get through to people. They're not paying attention.
Oh, people aren't listening. That's why. People are stupid. You're describing yourself. You are not listening. You need to start listening and stop demeaning people.
That's all. Yeah, because the Democrats have always been for the working people.
Exactly. And the Republicans I think the message of the Democrats sounded elitist. You don't have value in the society.
They
if you don't
sounded
have a college
that way,
degree.
but when you look at...
She's got it. You know, I'm impressed. Some of these View people, they are starting to, the cogs are turning, you know. There's, wait a second. You know, I'm kind of seeing a bit of Anna Kasparian in this one, the one in the green. Anna Kasparian, Young Turks, I think it is. I don't know too much about all this, but, you know, I've seen her podcasts and stuff, and she just said, I've just got to a point where, you know, the left had just left. They were gone. They were in outer space. And I just couldn't put up with it anymore. So it seems to me like some of these gals are getting it. And the other ones just digging their heels in. You're just, again, trying the same thing over and over, expecting for different results. Sonny, the sun needs to set on these ideas, okay? Say goodbye, come up with some new ideas, self-reflect, have a gin and tonic. Things are going to be okay.
That way, but when you look at the proof,
but Joy, it's condescending. It's condescending. There is a
condescending.
The way that the left speaks to its voters. It really is.
Exactly. People are so sick of being fed that shit. Oh, I can't afford to feed my kids, and there's so many more illegal immigrants in my town now that I'm frightened. People are lying to me about COVID, and people are lying to me about my president. But vote joy. Vote inclusion. Most people don't care about that. They care about their own lives and their own family. And that is very normal. Sorry. It's just like fun to watch it. Shout out to the blue girl and the green girl. I should probably know their names, but they are getting it. They're starting to get it.
Message of joy and inclusiveness?
No, the message of not being educated, being dumb, and what's wrong with America.
Who said that?
Sonny just did.
What is wrong with America?
My point here is that
that's not what Kamala Harris said.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
My point is, I don't blame Joe Biden. I don't blame Kamala Harris. Go back as far as you want. I blame a messaging within the Democratic Party.
You don't blame the Republican Party
Can I just finish my point, please? I obviously have a problem. Anyone has a problem with Donald Trump. The bigger question should be, yes, Sonny, why did they vote for him?
Yes.
In sweeping...
You need to be introspective. Keep using the metaphors here. Go to the core of that burning sun. Because this gal, who looks great, by the way, love that blue turtleneck she has, she's getting it. You know, she's saying maybe we have, you know, talked down to our voters, told them what to think, told them they're uneducated, told them they're racist for years. And maybe they started to get a bit pissed off, maybe.
No, we need to be introspective. If we voted for Kamala Harris, we need to say what didn't resonate with the voters. Do you know what didn't resonate with the voters? When they were saying we don't feel safe, and the left focused on defund the police and bail reform. Yeah. When they said we're worrying about... Can I just finish? Let me just finish.
They just can't let her speak. They can't bear it. You're like, oh my God, this person's making so much sense. Stop.
When they were focused on renaming...
It's only an hour show, ladies.
Joy. When they were focused on renaming schools, there were people saying, hey, students are destroying colleges. I paid for that. I sent them there. They can't learn. And everyone apologized for it and didn't want to attend to it. They also denied the border was a crisis and kept saying, no, it's fine. This is not a...
There was a border bill, though. There was a border bill.
Yes, but Joy, my point is they screamed and screamed and screamed. They didn't vote for him because he's a racist or a misogynist. They voted because they needed help in their everyday lives.
But Sarah,
the majority of this country, because every stat coming out on the people willing to self-reflect are showing these.
Oh, wait, they're going to say I'm a racist and a misogynist in the exit poll?
You really think 74 million people are racist? Every racist and misogynist voted for Donald Trump. Not everyone that voted for Donald Trump was a racist and misogynist.
I agree with that.
Everyone swept. They swept every category, and the reason they did is to say, hey, guys, no excuses this time.
Yeah. Look,
they lost everything.
There's still half the country that doesn't environment to be ravaged, its children to be shot, its wealth to be hoarded, its workers to be exploited, its poor to starve, its cops to murder.
So you think America's the
country in trouble?
So America's the problem, and the voters are not going to make it better.
Anna, hold it for the next segment, right? We'll be right back. Hold it.
Well, that was a good observation from the blue girl. The green one too. Sorry, I keep calling them by the colors. That's obviously not very respectful, very misogynistic of me. But I don't know their names. They are with it. You know, I feel like they're peaking. They're probably peak woke. They're probably going to go to the dark side. For that other one to say, oh, well, who's going to say I'm a misogynist? Like, if you believe that many people are racist and misogynist, then the country is hopeless. And I guess that's why people feel like they're hopeless. But, you know, she really put it right in probably every racist or misogynist voted for Trump. But not everyone that votes for him are racist or misogynist. The majority of people that voted for him are not racist or misogynist. They're so in their metropolitan woke bubbles that they can't understand that, oh, maybe there's like a farmer in South Dakota who has felt the cost of living crisis and the energy crisis and wants lower taxes. And that is literally it for that person. They don't care about all of this extra shit. They're not being told every day, don't say that word or you're culturally appropriating. Nah. They don't get it because they live in liberal, elitist bubbles. Their lives are so luxurious that they can just talk about race every single second of every day, even if you're a person who's not white, who has a big time job, who's on TV all the time, who people listen to. These things just don't add up. Right.
I want to dig further into the demographics because black women tried to save this country again last night. 92% of black women voted for the vice president.
And what did the white women just try to destroy the country? I don't think so.
You have Latinas in the 70 percentile voting for the vice president. What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump, uneducated white women.
That's still pretty high percentage. You know, it's still half, right? Oh, it's still pretty much half that voted for Harris. Uneducated white women, of course. If only they were more educated. And what is educated? Because there's so many different facets of life that are useful. You don't have to go to university. And going to university these days anyway, going to college is not what it used to be. It's basically just an indoctrination factory. You know, all you learn at college these days is free Palestine and patriarchy, trans women are women, and then that's pretty much it. You come out basically a communist. So I wouldn't be putting any markers on that. That's actually why a lot of people were fooled by Kamala Harris, actually. So maybe the other women are more educated. I'm not going to actually think that, but it is just so elitist and patronizing to suggest that white women did not vote for Harris only because they're uneducated. It's you. You need to educate yourself, which is not something I would usually say, but it's true.
Actually voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right.
So why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms? And why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority of his community?
Oh my God, the majority. No, people that come in illegally. There are so many legal Latino men, say it like her, in the US. You know, it is just to be so obsessed with race. All she cares about is, let's talk about the racial demographics. Why don't you talk about ideas and policies and values? Does that ever occur to you? I mean, it must just be so exhausting, just being so obsessed with people's skin color all the time. Like, do you get me? I get people of color that watch my channel all the time, like agreeing with this shit. I mean, agreeing with what I say, for example. And it must just be so infuriating. In the same way for me that people use my sexuality as a pawn and say I must follow their rules, blah, blah, blah. It's so demeaning. It's insulting. I'm so sick of it. It's boring. And, you know, it's just really depressing. So I'm sure it feels similar, but honestly.
Being called uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters. But when you put people in these boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
We have to look at the demographics.
It's a disgrace. You're a disgrace. You're cringe. You're crisp. And you're cute. You're cute. Okay, everyone. So that was a lot. I have a lot of footage here. So I think I'm going to be posting some of this separately. But that was some of the crazy, crazy leftist stuff following the election. And I just want to say, you know, to all the people out there who are devastated that Kamala Harris didn't win, I'm really sorry that you guys are upset. I think I was upset when Labour won the election here. I wasn't like freaking out. Regardless of, you know, how unhinged you're being or harmful your rhetoric is or how passive aggressive it is or, you know, just all the things. I do recognize that some people are probably going through it, and I want you guys to know that it's okay, and I respect that you have strong views, and I know that you didn't win this time, but I really hope that we can find a way to kind of unify the two sides together so that we don't demonize each other all the time, that we don't make someone the enemy and someone the hero, and that, you know, the majority of us just have frameworks in which we see the world that we think would be better. Okay, I recorded for so long there that I ran out of battery. But thank you everyone for tuning in today. And if you are an audio listener, I'd really appreciate it if you can give me a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That would really help me. And lots of more videos in store. Very looking forward to what's in store for the rest of this year and next year. So excited. Thanks for supporting. And with that said, I will see you soon for another video. Bye.